This is TWiT.
Hey, we have a great guest on the show today. You've seen me many, many times talking about this silly little bracelet. I don't have to wear it. It's actually holding the Bee module, which I'll pop out of the bracelet. You can wear it. Whoops. Well,
that's it. Break the guest's big gadget before they even get on the show.
Yeah, before you even introduce them.
I threw it in the air. So you can wear it around your neck as a pendant. You can wear it as a clip-on. I like to wear it as a bracelet. It's always with me. Plus, it fools people because it looks like it's a Fitbit or something, some sort of fitness thing. What is it really? It is a set of microphones, very good microphones, attached to a device that then streams to my phone and then sends it from my phone to an AI for analysis. Everything that I do, say, happens in my day gets sent to this AI for
any fun
summarization.
Summary from your rock trip? Pick
I
up
have
other
it all.
Conversations?
Yes. Yes.
It's amazing. Leo had a good day today.
The other thing I have to do, it has a button you can push to turn it off to have it stop recording. And I keep forgetting to do that during TV shows. So occasionally he'll say things like, good luck with your rehearsals for Richard III. It's like,
we have an update on that when we can talk about it.
Let me introduce our guests. It's great. We've got the founders of Bee.computer. They had their coming out party in January at CES. Maria, I'm going to do your name, I think correctly, De Lourdes Zoyo.
So it's Maria de Lourdes. Zoyo is my surname. South America.
So your first name is Maria de Lourdes.
Yeah.
And then Zoyo is your surname.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're not from Spain, you're from South America.
Born in Caracas, grew up in Italy. I'm a mix. And I really appreciate the pronunciation because I think basically no people understand that it's Zoyo.
I love it. And I saw that you went to school in Italy and I thought, that's definitely a Spanish name, so that's great. And with Maria, her co-founder, Ethan Sutton. Am I saying Sutton right?
Sutton.
Sutton?
Either way.
You guys met, what your previous startup was Squad, right?
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
Which then was purchased by Twitter and became Spaces.
Yes.
So you're the founders of Spaces.
Well, don't want to take full credit for Spaces.
Esther Crawford also, right?
Yeah. But we joined and launched it on Android. We were, interestingly worked on a lot of speech to text for the captioning of that.
Okay. So you both have a little bit of experience in AI, but tell me how you started Bee. Bee.computer is the website, by the way.
Yeah, I will keep it really brief, but there's some relevance to our last company actually with Bee, because we actually started in 2016, the company we were all together at with Esther that we sold to Twitter. We actually started it as a personal AI company. So me and Esther were always kind of really obsessed about what it would be like if we could have a computer, a machine, have like a really good model and understanding of ourselves, of humans, like personality, beliefs, attitudes, and thoughts, and like what value would come from that. We actually started that and launched it, but it was too early because it was before Transformers existed, before the Transformers paper, before large language models. And I don't know if you remember, there was like a brief, very short-lived chatbot boom in 2016.
Yeah, with Tay, Microsoft's Tay, the racist chatbot.
And
she rest in peace.
Yeah. Tay.
Yeah, we all thought chatbots would be the big thing, and it turned out they were terrible.
Yes, and we were excited about it, and so we were one of the terrible chatbots at that time.
Oh dear.
But we were too early. But it, I think that obviously that all changed with LLMs. So anyway, we pivoted and we went through Y Combinator, and we built Squad, and we worked at Twitter. But then, now it's kind of if you would have told us in 2016 the kind of natural language processing that's possible now, I don't think anybody working in the field would have really believed that we would have gotten so far.
It's been remarkable. We certainly wouldn't. And we've kind of jumped on it, transforming a show that used to be about the hot technology of 2016, Google, and is now about the hot technology of 2025, which is obviously AI.
While you're in the sequence, I'm just curious about
what I know Jeff's going to say. Esther Crawford was the woman who slept in her sleeping bag at Twitter after Elon took over. But you guys, were you under you didn't stay for Elon, right?
No,
we left before.
not related to Elon, but left before, so did not get to experience any of the Elon.
That was my question. Yes,
I knew where Jeff was going.
I just had to know. I had to know.
Yeah. So no Elon stories and no sleeping in the office stories. But
I was about to say, B isn't keeping you guys sleeping in sleeping bags in the office.
well,
We're for sure sleep deprived.
yeah.
But hopefully just a normal amount where you can be sleep deprived and sleep in a bed.
Yeah.
Let me show you. I have my iPhone on the screen. This, by the way, only works with iOS currently. I'm sure.
Well, Android is actually in the Play Store now under
yay.
Under preview, so it's in beta testing. We're still telling people that it's like the full support's on iOS, but the Android's full featured. And as soon as Android is a little trickier to iron out all the bugs with the device fragmentation and everything. But within about a week, we'll probably do the full release.
Yeah, I like that you just did the announcement.
Oh, yeah.
Congratulations! Thank you for holding that announcement for us.
It was in preview beta, but you can install it on Android now, and it works.
Okay, good. Amazingly, it's currently, this is the kind of Explorers edition, $50, and there's no subscription. Now, that's obviously going to change. In fact, I'm here to lobby you for that to change because I want to make sure that you get a regular income for this, and I want to make sure we have access to the best AI models. Let me just, before we go any further, show people what I'm getting from this thing. Here's my Bee app. It does a few things. It records all the time, so it's recording right now. It's just it also has previous days, summarizes the daily. And by the way, the summaries are fun because it's not only it has a certain personality, which we'll talk about in a bit. But I stipulate this is not for everyone. I mean, there are probably a lot of people who say you have a microphone on at all times. What do the people around you think about that? It gives me a summary of the day, event highlights. Notice it's got a map. They even offer, didn't today, but often offer links associated with the things you were talking about. It also keeps track of things that I'm talking about that I might have a to-do around. So it suggests these to-dos. This is from today. And if I think, oh, yeah, actually, I do want to do that, I can press plus to add it to my actual to-do list. Otherwise, I can delete it. I can then go to my to-do list, and you see it's been recording. I have 34 to-dos, but these are all legit things I want to do. I haven't typed any of this. This is all from listening, transcribing, analyzing, and then presenting to me.
Do you ever instruct Bee and say, don't forget to remind me of this?
Oh, yes, you can. We'll get to that in a second. I'll also show you, it is already 477 facts about me. The facts are often trivial. Oh, and I get to approve them all, right? So let me review some. I'm associating with people discussing topics like MacBook Pros and Bitcoin. Yes. I've been receiving significant residual income from Megaphone and Libsyn. Yes, I don't know how it knew that. I enjoy dark roast coffee with a preference for rich chocolate and bitter flavor. Okay, so this is one thing we'll talk about. That was Lisa. Now I can discard it, but it's actually not wrong. It was my wife. So sometimes it makes mistakes. That's true. I have an interest in AI topics. Would you say that's true? Yeah, all right.
I would say.
I like live events and shows in New York. By the way, that's because I was watching
Lisa.
Saturday Night Live last night.
Yeah, so we haven't updated that too.
Yeah, you're going to tell me about that. Pet cat named Sammy, true. Sammy, Leo's cat, has black fur coloring with a white nose and distinctive marking that represents a Hitler mustache. How did you know? Yes. So I can go through all of these. I won't go through all 49, but it is over time, and I think this is very smart, built up this fairly long list of 485 things it knows about me. Trivial little facts, but certainly things that could inform an AI to give me better results. So that's just a quick tour of the interface. Let's just see what it thinks of the current conversation. I am particularly focusing on the integration of AI into the daily. Yeah, so it
only
doesn't yet know that I'm talking to its parents, but it'll get that probably. So, a couple of questions right off the bat, and then I'll let you tell us more about this. Where is this going? Where is my recording going?
We don't store, so that there's no audio recording. Well, where's it going? It's going from the device through Bluetooth Low Energy to your iPhone.
Okay.
From the iPhone to the cloud and transcribed in real time. And then the audio is not, that's the end of its life.
So that's the privacy angle, at least so far. And by the way, that does answer a question I had about two-party recording. In California, I have to ask somebody before I can record a conversation with them.
California is a two-party consent state,
Yes.
and depends on the expectation of privacy by the other party. So in public, you wouldn't. In private, yes. It's...
So we're a little bit skirting the law here.
Well,
Rewind with its PIN won't record unless you get an explicit. Well, by the way, I don't have the PIN yet, so it's.
I was going to
not-
say, does that actually work? I'd be
I don't know.
curious to see.
I'm skeptical.
They say they ask for explicit approval and then we'll record. And then the Plod doesn't record unless you press a button, presuming that Plod is presuming that you will ask before you record. This doesn't do any of that. And frankly, I think it's better because of it. But it might be a little extra legal.
Well, I think there's, it depends obviously on the jurisdiction, but, also I think a little untested around,
Yeah.
is the summary, and we target the summary to focus on the user through the speaker identification. Like, I don't think if you went through a lot of, your memories.
I don't have a transcript of things well, I sort of do, of things other people have
But
said.
you don't really have any personal information. I mean, I think this is like the key challenge we have to navigate, is to kind of establish what the right norm is. I think that you would probably agree that it's going to be the future to have like AI understanding us. And so, the expectations are currently the way they are now, thinking about like, oh, somebody's recording me and listening to me. But if the expectation was my AI is just learning about what I did, purposely not learning about anybody else,
Right.
People would become more attuned to that.
So you don't reveal on the website or in your terms of service, you don't reveal the LLMs you use. Do you want to tell us now?
There's a variety of LLMs we use. So all of the pipelines, have different kind of requirements. So summary doesn't require necessarily the largest model, but like, for example, the assistant, you want a very large model. So we use self-hosted models, and then we do use commercial ones, and under the agreement of no retention, no training. So that's to be very clear, no training on customer data at all from us,
Right.
or any commercial model we use.
Okay.
And so I can say, from a provider, that you probably like.
How are you going to pay for this? This has got to be expensive.
Yeah, well, we will introduce soon the subscription.
Good.
So
I want
it
you to.
will be $12 per month. It will be a freemium model. So the basic features, as for example, memory, transcripts, all of that will be free for the users, but the integrations, as for example, you already have some of them right now for free, but Gmail, Google Calendar, how actually to give to be the digital side of you, that will be under the subscription model. In the future, and we're already testing them, we are testing agents, and those as well, they will be under the subscription model.
And we focus a lot on, when we introduce a subscription, to having a tier where people can kind of experience like the base, of memory building, of understanding and learning. And, you think it's very expensive, but with the right optimization, because it's like, it's all the time, it's really around voice activity.
Yeah.
So like it can vary how much inference is needed depending on how much you talk, how much voice activity. And then with the premium, you will, and you kind of alluded to this, have like the more accurate models, the larger models, the models that take more GPU to run. And then like you can still, and we can talk about this later, we have a version we're testing where everything runs on your iPhone. So this has both, for people who are very concerned about control of the data, but also, there's no inference cost to us if everything is running on the iPhone, and that won't be as accurate, obviously, as a large model that you couldn't run on the phone. But actually, for a lot of use cases, it's still very useful.
So it sounds like you got a lot of secret sauce in the AIs you're using. I don't want to press you. I mean, is the transcription done locally on the phone? Is it done in the cloud?
The transcription is currently done in the cloud.
Okay.
There is
your cloud or somebody else's cloud?
Our cloud.
Okay.
Well,
interesting.
Not our data center, but
you do have your own local models.
Yes.
Interesting.
We don't. Like I said, we do use some commercial models in some of the pipelines, but on the edge, on the mobile phone now, there is a model running. It's a very small model but it is a neural network for around detecting voice activity. Yeah. We have a fully working version, so every part of it. There's 5 different models that are needed to do it on the phone, and in that situation, it works on airplane mode.
Really?
The data never leaves your phone. So there's voice activity, there's the speech to text, there's the voice embeddings for speaker identification, there's text embeddings for retrieval, and then the LLM for the summary and assistant. So all of those can work on the phone. Obviously, they're in like the 3 billion parameter range for the LLMs.
Yeah, they're too small, those models, really, I think.
They're good. Like, they're not as good. But like the summary, like we field test it, and like you can still kind of experience the value of like the summaries. I think for the assistant, it's a little rough.
Yeah.
It's not so smart. But for things like summarization and like even generating insights and to-dos, it's surprisingly how good things are getting. We have Gemma, we have Phi, we have like really good small models now. But like you can see the trajectory going where like those models will be as good as some of the larger models now. But the best models will probably always remain on the cloud, because once those get so good, the ones we can run on larger machines will be even better than they are now.
Let me show you folks the settings page now on this. If you show my screen, Benito. So I'm going to go into settings. Show my screen, Benito. You have my screen? Am I doing this, Benito?
I'm seeing your screen.
You're seeing it. Okay, I have the wrong
I'm seeing your
thing.
screen on the camera thing, but it's not.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I had a little
TWiT.
trouble here.
Benito's having some trouble switching. I just want to show you the choices you have as the user. Some of the things in here are really kind of interesting. So here's my settings. You train it on your voice, obviously. You can connect accounts. I actually created special Google Gmail contact and calendar accounts that extract from my real Gmail and my real mail, so that I get rid of some of the stuff that I don't want you to worry yourself about. But you could connect it if you, again, I know not everybody would do this, but I like it. You give it location. I'm giving it everything: location, reminders, notifications, photos, contacts, all the health information from Apple Health. This is kind of fun. You have a choice of, you can name your assistant, and a choice of some voices. Oh, you've added quite a few more. Holy moly. That's pretty new. Yeah.
Do you guys have a favorite voice?
Yeah. What voice do
the
you?
users love the voice. So
Yeah. Because you're going to talk to it. This is one of the things I think is the most fun. Is there a button on the thing, and you can choose what happens for what is it? A double tap, single tap mutes it. Is that right? And the double tap picks one of these actions.
Yeah, so it's like a multi-purpose button. So like the interface on the device is kind of intentionally pretty minimal. So
Which
it's
it should be. That's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. So single button is to toggle mute. Double press is like a customizable action button.
Look at this. I have it on Fact Checker. So it's listening. You and I are talking, Jeff. You say something preposterous. If I double tap this, My phone will then say, what? I've never used it. I've never dared. Jeff, you ignorant slut. That's wrong. Interesting anecdote. Is that about you, or is it just a random anecdote?
It should be topical to what.
Okay. Process current conversation, which is probably the one most people would pick, which means this conversation I want a full summary of. Relationship advice. Yeah, that's interesting. And then roast. I did try the roast, and it was mean.
Yeah, we need to remove that.
Actually, we need to remove that.
Don't take it out. If somebody chooses roast, they deserve what they get.
Yeah, this is like that one uses a local uncensored model. I think it's not.
It's pretty. It's like Grok. It's pretty.
But yeah, this is like kind of an underdeveloped area that we are.
We are testing around that.
But that's what I like. This is the early version, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Pretty much so.
So you can also. You do get transcripts and you can assign names. So as I've been talking to people, I've assigned names to them so that there are some names, but it's not, there are better models for this kind, like Claude is very good at this kind of thing. I don't know what models you're using or whether that's even important to you. Except that, as I mentioned, occasionally it confuses.
Yeah, it is very important to us. And so this is actually one of our primary focus is improving.
But I understand this is Explorer edition. This is like, I only paid $50 for this thing. And by the way, Maria, $5 a month?
No,
That's
12.
12.
Yeah.
Well, that's still, I'm paying 20 for Perplexity, paying 20 for ChatGPT, 20 for Claude. Everybody else is 20. That's a good deal.
What use cases? I can imagine many, but what are the A, most prevalent, but then B, any surprising use cases you're seeing?
Yeah, so some of them that we are super excited about them. Students in particular, students with ADHD, that they use Bee to having the transcripts of their lectures, understanding what areas they should be focused on study. As well, the neurodivergent use case.
Yeah, that really surprised us. A lot of people have wrote to us like around not just ADHD, but also people who've had, brain injury or a stroke. Yeah, so like we don't really even market it all to that, but I think there was just people looking for tools, but the really like amazing thing is they've wrote and they're getting benefit from it, which is not anything we had really planned for.
In your Discord, I've talked to several people who
you're not Discord.
Who say this is great. There's a blind user who loves it. It's really it is absolutely an accessibility device. And I'm an old guy.
We really want to kind of expand, really dig into that, and
But ultimately, to me, and so this is like a very futuristic use of AI. Mm-hmm. But ultimately, to me, we're all disabled in various ways. And as I get older, my memory fades and things.
Yeah.
I think this is a daily journal, if nothing else.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The reflective, like self-understanding, reflective part of, a lot of users kind of overlap with that. I think that applies to people generally. Like, one of the other kind of use cases that emerge are like people who are salespeople or talk, a lot for their job and they want feedback. But like, not only do they've given us feedback on that, but then they're like, make this insight use case more, they have feature requests for that. And so it's kind of crossing between work and reflection.
Yes. Yeah. I think it's one of the things that I found like the most interesting is that some people are coming for professional, but after they're asking parental advices or, almost like the holistic coach aspect of the product. How can I be better on something? How can I have more personal insights about myself, patterns on my relationship, things like that.
Yeah, there are people in the Discord who are asking. So you can talk to the assistant and say, you can ask it for things. There's one guy who says, I want all your answers to sound like it's Bill Burr. I don't know how permanent that is, but he says it's very funny. But there's some people who say, hey, listen to this next conversation I'm having with my wife and let me know if I'm doing something that is, non-productive or, or whatever, if I'm being mean or, and I guess that's the relationship advice button too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can, in the assistant, it will, and I kind of measure my life in tokens now in terms of tokens I produce. So like 250,000 tokens is like my informational output per day. But like that builds up over time. And so like the assistant can actually, traverse, in my case, 50 million tokens. So if I ask it to kind of analyze my behavior and trends, it can look historically and then, kind of coordinate that with things that happened in my email and calendar, and then kind of try and connect the dots. And I think this is something that's really useful, and will only get better, like the more signals we can understand and the better we can kind of allow the assistant to think about it, to iterate across and pull things that when it discovers something, that then it can fetch relevant pieces and then continue on until it has something that's kind of substantial that's kind of surprising to me.
That's the point, right? Is the more you give, it's like RAG, the more you give the AI of your life, the more insights you can ask, the more information you can get from it.
Yeah.
I think this is now. There's a privacy concern, and people want to make sure. But just to reiterate, you're not saving. What do you have? What data do you save?
Well, we don't save any audio, so that's processed in real time, and there's never any audio saved. To perform the functionality of the assistant, we have to have the conversation history to be able to then perform the AI on it. And we do a lot to make sure that it's only ever decrypted at the time the AI needs to run inference. And so, I mean, I think you probably are aware, like the Apple Intelligence, they have a hybrid.
Yeah, and it's pretty stupid, to be honest with you, because I think they're unwilling to breach people's privacy to some degree. You gotta know stuff to understand stuff.
Yeah, so I mean, I think
and they have a hybrid. I know what you were. I'm sorry, I went off on a tangent.
Yeah,
they have a local model, and they also will go to their particular servers in the cloud. And then even further, if they can't answer it, they'll refer you to ChatGPT. But then they'll warn you, we're about to send you somewhere where we don't control what happens.
Yeah.
So that's roughly the model you're using?
Yeah, roughly. I mean, we to provide the service, we use the models in the cloud, but we take every safeguard to make sure that the data is encrypted up until the point, and that it's basically unreadable up until the point where it needs to be decrypted to go to AI. And we're always trying to find, to get for example, to get the Google scopes, we had to go. We voluntarily went through a third-party security audit. So,
that's good.
Yeah, we take it very seriously, and we're committed to doing it every 6 months as a best practice. And we come from an information security background too. We worked at Twitter Payment. We worked on the first Twitter Blue, if you remember that.
Blessed soul, bless it.
Yeah.
Tony Hale, we love Tony Hale. What about this? The discoverability in subpoenaed. If it's where is it vulnerable?
Oh yeah, Paris is a reporter. You wouldn't want to wear this to a interview with a source, would you?
I mean, yeah, I think that's certainly a question. Does the data exist in some place that hypothetically a recording of your entire life could be subpoenaed?
So this is a great question. When you say recording, there's no recording, so we wouldn't be able to comply with any requests asking for audio because it doesn't exist.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
The metadata and the summaries, yes, we are vulnerable to that now, because we would fight any court order, but because we have to decrypt it to be able to run the AI on it, we cannot do full end-to-end encryption, because then unless you're running on local model mode. So our plan around this is kind of multi-step. So like we're going to be releasing very soon the fully local mode. So you can turn it on, and then anything that's all the transcription, all the AI is all happening on your device. So the data is on your device. So that would not be vulnerable because we couldn't comply with anything because there's no data that's possible to comply with. That, again, they're not as accurate models, but they still provide like pretty good results, and they'll only get better over time as what you can run on the edge improves. And then there's like the second option, which we're working on now, which is where, and not to get too technical, but like if we have the encryption key, well, you guys understand, but like if you have the encryption keys that you control on your phone, and then the data is encrypted where you would like ephemerally grant access to run some AI, like when you're using the assistant, you would give us a decryption token that has a certain 12-hour, 1-hour life. And then, so we wouldn't be able to decrypt the data unless you explicitly allow it, and that's time limited. And then like, if we don't have your permission at that point and you can delete the key, revoke the key at any time, then there's no way to comply.
Yeah, I think look, I no longer care about privacy, so I'm a perfect guinea pig for this, and I'm not worried about it. But obviously, before it became a real consumer product, people would want to know that was the case. And there's going to have to be a certain amount of trust. They're going to say, oh yeah, Marie and Ethan, I trust them to do the right thing with my data. But I also...
How do you guys think, just generally, broadly, about the idea of us transitioning from a world where, I don't know, you can say something or have a conversation with someone and the only two people that know are you two, to a world where this is all increasingly recorded or searchable in some way? I mean, obviously, this is a quandary bigger than your company, but I assume you've given this quite a bit of thought. So I'm curious as to your thoughts on it.
Yeah, I mean, this is, I think, core to what we want to navigate. And like, I mean, I think that we really believe that the value of what you can do with AI when it has this context about you is going to be so undeniable that not just us, but it will be kind of normalized, and so there will be some expectation changes. But I think that like core is like, if you want like to have like an off-record conversation, like obviously that's always should be.
You can press that button and it's off the record. Yeah.
But we do want people to be responsible and but I think that like, if you think about the future, and Google's promoting always on AI, and like Meta, like with the Ray-Bans, I think increasingly, it will become kind of normalized. Like, maybe when Ring came out, you have a doorbell camera, like that was kind of quite controversial at the time, but like it just became kind of more normalized because there's a lot of value to be able to like have some ability to see who's at your door. But like the key thing that we need to do is like, like you said, build trust, make sure we can do it in a privacy centered way. But also, I think the value of having personal AI is just going to be more or less universal. And I mean, the trade-offs there are real, but they can be like maximizing the benefit and minimizing any downsides.
Yeah, I also believe that we are in a transitional time. So right now it's a bit challenging. And, we are a startup, so there are like many things that we need to take care about, that we should care about, but I think it's just a transition and will be the norm. And that's what makes me excited. Like one day, actually, like what AI can do for me now that knows me so well, what are the actions, how actually, I can be free in a way.
Well, that raises another question then of kind of the portability of this. Mm-hmm. Is there an ecosystem that exists where if someone comes up, do you envision an ecosystem where someone can create a specific application on top of what you have? I want to create a romance advisor, or I want to create a job advisor, or I want to do a negotiation coach. Can you imagine that this is either portable, that I could take some kind of concatenization of what data is collected somewhere else, or that someone can plug an application in on top of what you have. Is that in the future, you think?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we have a developer API currently.
Yeah, where does that? Because I heard about that. Now I'm thinking that's really cool.
Developer.Bee.computer.
Okay.
And so, I mean, I think that's definitely a priority for us because, like, both in terms of data portability, yes, you can export data, but also like what kind of use cases that are beyond what we would build, like, can be empowered by this.
Right.
And about like the future and like where there's different ways to exchange signals, maybe there will be some open standard even that will allow like even more facilitated kind of exchange between AI systems where it's like you can authorize this AI system to have this explicit part of my context, and there would be some standard where they can just talk to each other. And I think like one example, this is all unreleased yet from Apple, but like they talk about the semantic engine on the iPhone where like Siri can query apps about context. So you could see like, Siri could query Bee and be like, I want to know about this part of Ethan's life. And then if you had authorized it, then Bee can return like context from in real life that Siri wouldn't have.
What about the agentic strategy? You mentioned at the beginning that you're starting to play with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that that's our frontier and like a key thing we're excited about, because like one of the most valuable things that we could do is actually like proactively help and take action. So like for example, a simple one is like if there's a to-do that we could help with, the Bee could help with, like there should just be you could just say yes, go do it.
Yeah.
And because it has all of your preferences, it doesn't need to ask you every little thing. Especially at the beginning, there'd be the appropriate amount of human in the loop, so it has your kind of sign off it. But like, for an example, like, a to-do is referencing like, oh, you need to follow up with this person from something that Bee learned. It could just have a button just like, do you want me to draft the follow-up for you and send it? And it can do that. But, larger, like more complex, multi-step kind of things it can be doing for you.
Maria, can you talk a little bit about the roadmap? What I can look forward to?
Something that I wanted to mention as well, like speaking about agents, one of the things that I envision for the future is how agents can speak with each other, meaning like how actually personal AI can speak with my personal AI and how they can take actions on our behalf. We did some experiments where Ethan's agent spoke with my agents, and they chose for us nice French restaurant nearby based on our locations, and actually it was quite good.
Yeah.
That's wild.
And basically, like the both agents that they knew our preferences in terms of food, they knew our location, they knew when we were free based on our calendar, and they figured that out for us. And that's where I want to go, understanding how actually, the user should not do things, but it's more like your personal AI that does those actions for you. And I feel that will make us even more connected as humans.
I wish I'd had this my whole life. It would be really fun to go back and look at different days of my life. Does this, it saves it all forever? Does it roll off at some point or?
No. So it's everything is there unless you explicitly remove a memory.
Right. Yeah. So this is an incredible journal.
Yeah, indeed, like the other thing that amazed me is the fact that some users were sad or upset if they don't bring the Bee with them, because after a while they get used to it.
Yeah, you get hooked.
Like they're like, oh my God, like I lost my day, or, I want like to understand what happened, but now I cannot, because there is a point of self-reflections that Bee helps you to do. So
yeah, and the journal part, like one of the fun things that like at the around Christmas when the Spotify wrap came out, like I just asked Bee like make a life wrapped, in the Spotify style for my life, and it was like, oh, you visited 3, it had stats like 3 countries. Here are your key achievements.
Yes.
And
see, I feel like in a way I'm making an investment in the future of AI. Like I'm now storing as much as I can, knowing that sometime this will be a treasure trove. Maybe it's, a little trivial right now. It's actually already quite useful, but I can only imagine what it will become down the road.
Yeah. And future, there is one of the things that sometimes we wonder around the vision of the product. So right now it's just audio, but for future, there might be a vision, a camera component in the product as well.
A camera of some kind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh man, I really want you guys to succeed. I think this is
thank you so much.
fantastic.
He's your best agent.
He's
very enthusiastic.
I love it. Yeah, I talk about it all the time. Right now in the app, I can request an agent upgrade. Is that just a nonsense setting or?
No, we can enable it for your account. I mean, we want to be very careful with the agents because we don't want any harm at all, around.
So assume that I'm the person who you can harm all you want.
Okay.
And I am, well, no, I'm just all in on the potential for this, and I've got nothing to lose at this point.
Wait, I'm confused. With the agent upgrade, what does that entail?
Yeah, what do I get?
Well, yeah, we
Like the 00 number?
we have, all right, so we have agents that run in multiple execution environments. So just to give a brief kind of outline of how it works. So, the LLM can do kind of, tool calling. So like for things you already have, there's kind of already a little bit of agent. You can ask the assistant to send an email to like look up some information. It can send an email. So that's kind of one way. Where we have API access to take actions, we will use that. But as you know, like we can't integrate with everything. A lot of things don't have public APIs.
Right.
So we have two other agent execution environments. The one that you saw in the request screen. So, basically you get a lot of stuff done probably on your phone. Most people's digital life, it revolves around the phone. So like the concept is if you get a lot done on your phone and we're trying to give everybody a personal AI, what if we gave their personal AI their own phone, right? That it could do things for you and had all the same apps that you do. And so we actually have an emulated cloud phone for users who are enrolled in the agent, and it can use its cloud phone to perform actions for you. And that gives it, like through computer use, the ability to use any app that exists, and it can do, multiple steps. We could try and give you a demo. We don't have the phone. Unfortunately, I think we can't share the phone screen, but I'd love to give you a demo or follow up. We can enable it on your account.
Just turn it on my account, and I'll end up demoing it on the next show, probably.
Okay.
Most likely by accident.
Yeah.
So if you go now to Bee.computer, you've sold out. How many? Well, you probably don't want to talk about numbers, but how many?
We have the next shipment arriving
soon.
Yeah.
24th. It says
24th.
5 days.
It's shipping tomorrow,
Yeah.
and will arrive
Nice.
to then be shipping to customers on the
Yeah.
24th.
So, and again, I don't think it's for everybody, but it's only $50 if you want to play with it. And currently there is. Go ahead, Maria.
Yeah, one of the things that we are seeing is that some of our customers, they're buying Bee for, after they try it for family or friends.
Yeah.
So we have
I'm going to need a new one pretty soon. I can tell I'm delaminating it already because I never take it off.
It, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah.
But the data's on my account, not this device.
Yeah.
So yeah. And when you come up with one that I could put in my ear or on my glasses that has a camera, I'll be getting that one too. I think the idea is brilliant, and the execution is surprisingly good considering how early days we are with all of this. And now that I've talked to you, I think one of the things that wasn't apparent to me, and I read through all the material I could on this, is the complexity and the depth that you guys have put into the software. The back end of this is actually kind of interesting. It's very impressive. A lot of thought has gone into this. I wish you the best.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank
Keep
you
up the good work.
Talk to us.
Maria de Lourdes
Thank you.
Zoyo, it's great to have you. Ethan Sutton, great
Yes.
to have you. Founders of Bee.computer, at Bee.computer on the web. Can you turn on my, give me all the things.
Yeah.
I want it to be smart. I don't care if it's dangerous.
Yeah, yeah.
Leo really
I
just
like the
arranged
roast.
this interview so that he could get an upgraded feature.
That was the
for
whole
his
point,
account.
frankly. Yeah, it's just to get an upgrade. No, I was very impressed by this, and I really have thought for a long time that the future of AI is personal AI. One of the many futures.
Yes.
But personal AI has such an interesting implication in our lives. Yeah. Thank you, Maria. Thank you, Ethan. Really
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Bye. Thank
Take
you.
care. Hey, it's Leo Laporte. I hope you've enjoyed this little clip from our programming at TWiT.tv. For more, visit our website, TWiT.tv, or subscribe in your favorite podcast client. There's also a link somewhere down there.